Hi y'all, it's Katie. I hope everyone's doing well. Today we are talking about my 6 favorite tropes. For those of you who may not know, a trope is basically a plot device of some sort. They're often really similar to some sort of metaphorical expression. So the first trope that I want to talk about is the lost princess trope. The lost princess trope was kind of popular like years ago in YA, and then it hasn't really been around, but there have been a couple recent installments that have included this trope. If you've read them, you know what I'm talking about, but I can't otherwise say because spoilers. But I absolutely adore the second that someone says, like, oh yeah, this princess disappeared and was never seen again, and you just know. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. I think Lost Princess is definitely a trope that I could have as many times as you will give it to me, and I will never get sick of it. If you've seen any of the Barbie movies, like 10 of them include Lost Princesses, and I will watch them all on repeat. On a similar vein, the second trope that I want to talk about is that of the long-lost sibling. This is done in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's they never knew that they had a sibling. Sometimes it's that they thought that the sibling died as a child or when they were a child and it's an older sibling. But however it's done, I think it's so fun. Basically anytime someone turns out to not be dead and to have been trying to make their way back or anything of the sort, I'm enthralled. Like, if you have this in your book, I'll love it, like, automatically. If you watched my favorite ships video, then you know what this third one is gonna be, and that is best friends to lovers. I think the best relationships always form out of friendship, and friendship without any kind of romance initially. I just think that that's like the healthiest way for a relationship to occur, and I think it's so fun, and I just think it's the most natural way for relationships to happen, and I think that they're just always so quality because, like, you already know the person, you already love them as a human, and then you love them as your significant other. The best friends to lovers is in like almost all of my favorite books because it's the best. The fourth one on this list is kind of hard to put into words. It's when there's kind of like a preemptive note, like people are trying to figure something out or trying to like deceive someone or something, and then whenever they get to the point where they're finding out the thing, it turns out that the person knew what they were going to do all along and like either left them a note or did something or like shows up there because they knew that that was what was going to happen. Like, they knew exactly what the people were going to do, and whether it's because, oh, like, this is my enemy and I figured out what they're going to do, or like, oh, like, this is my best friend and I know them so well, I know that they're gonna try to follow me. Whatever it may be, I just think it's so cute and so fun and so skillful. It's definitely one of my favorite things in like Artemis Fowl, and you see it in Throne of Glass, and it's just so fun, especially when it is the protagonist that is just so preemptive and they're just always ahead of everyone else, and it's so fun to read. Next on this list, I have one that's also kind of specific to relationships and like romantic subplots of books, but that is when there is a build-up to some kind of drama and you're like, oh no, this is gonna start a fight between them, like this is about to be such a huge deal because one of them's gonna try to keep it from the other, and you're just so stressed because there's this huge just building up to the climax, and then nothing. Like, there's no fight because they trust each other. I love it so much. This was honestly like my favorite thing about The Wrath and the Dawn was every single time this would happen and I would just like let out a sigh of relief and like start crying, and my mom was very confused. I know I say this a lot, but I really, really love reading about healthy relationships and healthy friendships as well, and I think that this is always a telltale sign of one, and it always stresses me out when I can see it coming and I'm just like, oh my god, not again. Like, I was loving this book so much and you just ruined it. But then they don't. I just love when people trust each other. And finally is whenever a character has a faked weakness. I absolutely love whenever a character, normally the protagonist, has some skill and they're like the master of it. They're the best ever, but they pretend to be terrible because they want people to underestimate them. And then, right when you're getting so frustrated with the way they're being treated, they just let out the badassery. Is badassery a word? We're pretending badassery is a word today. A lot of times this goes hand in hand with the like preemptive stuff, so it's just perfect. I love it when that happens. I just love when you get to see how people would treat someone if they weren't as good as they were, and then they get what's coming to them. And I think it's just so fun to watch people who are so self-assured, so content in knowing that they're just the best there is, and I love them getting smacked down. So that is all I have to say about my favorite tropes. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Have a good one, y'all.